What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday morning. I hope you're having a good day so far. As always, we've got an absolutely massive show for you guys this morning, so do make sure to smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you're new here. On today's show, we're going to be talking quite in depth about this potential Amrabat signing, which I'm super excited to jump into with you guys. We're also going to be talking a bit about Anthony Elanga. We're going to be talking about Martial. We've got loads to talk about on the Rasmus Hojlund deal. We're going to be talking about a really interesting story linking us with Mohammed Kudus of Ajax, who is a player I really like. We'll also be talking a little bit about where Sancho might play next season, which is again something that I think is quite an interesting topic. And we've got loads of other stuff to get into, like Maguire, McTominay, Johnny Evans. We've got loads of bits to get into, guys. So do get involved in the live chat. Do get your questions in, and I will read them out in the second half of the show. But let's jump straight on into it. Let's start off with some positivity. Let's start off with this then, just to start the show nicely. There are pictures coming out this morning of Anthony Elanga, who has now completed his medical and done his kind of marketing press shots, whatever you want to call them, for Nottingham Forest. And Anthony Elanga will officially become a Nottingham Forest player. Really happy for him. £15 million plus add-ons. Great bit of business for Manchester United. He will move to Nottingham Forest. The medical has been passed. We can now see pictures of him wearing the shirt and all the rest of it. Anthony Elanga's got his move. He'll go off to Nottingham Forest, and I do think he'll do really well there. So let's all wish Anthony Elanga the best. I think just to touch on it really quickly, I know it's not the most exciting piece of news, but just to say, with Elanga, I think he was thrown into the team too quickly. I do think there was a player there. I think if he was developed properly, I think maybe he could have been a bench rotational player, but he was thrown in at the deep end, wasn't he? He was thrown into that squad when Ollie was kind of crumbling away and when Rangnick came in, and ever since then, he just hasn't really had any game time. So I do think this is the correct decision for Elanga. £15 million in the bank. Absolutely buzzing about that one. Couldn't be happier. Happy for him and happy for us. So yeah, let me know in the comment section, guys, if you're happy about this Elanga deal. Do you think we should have got more money for him? How do you think he'll get on at Nottingham Forest? I honestly think he'll do really well at Nottingham Forest. I do. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a move to maybe not a Manchester United level club, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a move to kind of like a Borussia Dortmund or someone like that in the next kind of 5 or 6 years, because he is a good player. He has got pace. He is quite skillful. I think he's good. So for 15 million, I'll take it. I do think there was maybe a bit of wasted opportunity there. I do think if we'd have developed him properly, then maybe he could have become at least like a squad player. But anyway, we move on. We can't undo the past. Ollie and Rangnick ultimately just kind of put him in at the deep end, didn't they, guys? So yeah, let's move on from that one though, guys. Let me know how you're feeling about Anthony Elanga. I think it's the right decision for him. So I am really happy for Anthony. So yeah, Anthony Elanga has officially gone to Nottingham Forest, and the deal is worth £15 million plus add-ons. So let's wish Anthony Elanga all the best in the chat. Let's move on to the next story though, guys. That was just a little quick one just to get the kind of the show started. Right, let's talk about this story that's coming in around Mohammed Kudus. Now, this is coming out from a couple of journalists in the UK. It's coming out from The Telegraph. It's coming out from, I can't remember where else the other one is, but the source I've got here is from The Telegraph in the UK, James Ducker. He reports that sources have indicated that a new forward does not necessarily have to be an out-and-out number 9. Manchester United are interested in signing Mohammed Kudus from Ajax. Now, this is a player I do really like, Mohammed Kudus. I think he is a quality player. Let me know in the comment section, guys. What do you think about Mohammed Kudus? Is he somebody you would like to see at Manchester United? For me, I definitely would. I know he's been linked to Arsenal quite heavily. I think he might have been linked to Chelsea as well. If we could bring Mohammed Kudus to Manchester United, that would be an absolutely quality signing. Now, the only thing I want to add here is he's not a striker. He's more of an attacking midfielder who has played kind of in those roles before. Erik's obviously had him at Ajax. He had a really good season for Ajax last season. I don't really know what to think about this signing. The one thing I will say about Mohammed Kudus is he's very versatile. So he can play as an attacking midfielder. That's his primary position. But he also can play as a centre forward and as a right winger. So you have quite a lot of options there. And I do actually think that maybe this is what Erik Ten Hag's trying to do with Sancho. Obviously, Sancho is primarily a winger, right? But as we spoke about on the show yesterday, apparently, and we've got another story to bring you about this later on in the show, but apparently Sancho will be played as a number 9 this season. So this season, he'll be played as a false 9, Jadon Sancho, which I think is really interesting. Quite strange, to be completely honest with you, but I'm quite excited about it. I am. I think Jadon Sancho does have the characteristics to play in that kind of false nine position. He's obviously very good on the ball. He's got a good shot on him. He's quite fast. He's good at finding space. I know he's not an out-and-out goal scorer, but he definitely can strike the ball very, very nicely, as we saw in that game against Arsenal. And he does have that killer instinct in and around the box. So it is a bit of a strange one, but to me, I don't think Mohammed Kudus would really make sense at this point. I like the player. I think he's a really good player. He'd improve our squad, but he's not an out-and-out striker. And if, from what the stories are saying, that Manchester United want to try and turn Jadon Sancho into a false nine this season, I don't really see why we'd go for Kudus, to be completely honest with you. And if I'm going to give you my opinion, I think that maybe this story has just come out because we're deep in negotiations with Rasmus Hojlund, and Manchester United want to throw some other names up there just so it doesn't look like our only target is Rasmus Hojlund. Does that make sense? So if we're linked to other players, at least they can go back to Atalanta and say, well, we're actually talking to Kolo Muani, we're talking to Kudus, we're talking to Gonzalo Ramos, because at the end of the day, guys, we're right in the middle of a negotiation right now. So, there's no surprise that we're linked to all of these different people, because it makes Manchester United's bargaining power way more stronger if they think that we are looking at other people, which we reportedly are. So yeah, I personally wouldn't go for Mohammed Kudus. As I said, I do really like him as a player. Obviously, Ten Hag's worked with him before. I think he would be a good addition to the squad, but I think we need an out-and-out goal scorer. We need two, really, for me, and I don't think Mohammed Kudus is that player. It's Neil's birthday today. Happy birthday, Neil. Hope you're having a good day, mate. But yeah, so we're going to talk about the Sancho situation really, really quickly. Where is Sancho? There he is. Okay, so there's another story coming out today from a journalist in the UK saying Jadon Sancho is likely to play as the false nine against Real Madrid this week. And they go on to say that Erik ten Hag ultimately sees Jadon Sancho as the false nine this season. Quite strange, but at the end of the day, you think of how Manchester City used to deploy a false nine. They had Bernardo Silva, Gundogan. They had those two people in that season before they had Haaland, didn't they? And they won the league without a striker. I know they had Gabriel Jesus, but I think Pep Guardiola mainly played Gundogan as the kind of false nine, didn't he? And he did really, really well. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I think it could actually really, really work. And the reason for that is because, as it stands at the moment, the Manchester United wingers don't seem to want to cross the ball, do they? Antony and Rashford seem to be allergic to crossing the ball into the box. I don't know why. I don't know whether they're being told not to cross the ball, but for me, bringing in like a Harry Kane, I would love that to happen, but Harry Kane, works off service. And if he doesn't get any service, then he's not going to score any goals. Whereas somebody like Jadon Sancho, if he's as the false nine, it's almost like you've got another midfielder as your striker. I know we played Bruno up there a couple of times and it didn't really work. But I think that's mainly because Bruno is better further back in the pitch. He works harder. Whereas Jadon Sancho, I'm not going to slag him off because I'm not the type of channel who's going to be, start a hate club against a player. But at the end of the day, guys, Jadon Sancho doesn't work hard enough in matches at the moment, okay? And having him out on the wing when he's expected to defend is actually a bit of an issue. Whereas you stick him in the false nine position, he's obviously good at linking the play, he's good at passing, etc., but he's not very good at tracking back. And I mean, if you're the false nine, then you don't really have to track back as much as if you are a winger. So I don't know, I'm not really too sure about this one. I do think it could work quite well because, as I've said to you guys many, many times before, I honestly think that if Jadon Sancho is planning on playing on the wing this season, he's not going to get any game time. He simply won't. We've got Antony, Rashford, Garnacho, Martial, Ahmad, Pellistri. Who else have we got? I mean, we've got 6 or 7 wingers, guys, right? Excluding Jadon Sancho. There is no way that Jadon Sancho is going to... there's no way that Jadon Sancho is going to get any game time on the wing this season, I don't think, unless somebody gets injured. So I quite like this idea of Jadon as a false nine. I think it could work quite well. I think he has less defensive responsibilities if he's a false nine. If you have him on the wing, you're expecting him to track back and, track the wingers, but he never used to do that. There was so many games last season where he just let the player run past them and then they'd score. There was a couple of times, wasn't there, where he just really didn't come back and defend. And that's just not unacceptable in Erik ten Hag's system. So maybe that's what Erik ten Hag's thinking. He's thinking, well, we're not going to be able to play him as a winger. He doesn't work hard enough in that position, and we've got too much competition. We don't have any strikers. Let's give him a try as a false nine. So I don't know. Let me know how you think about that one. Let me know in the comments section. What do you think about Jadon Sancho as a false nine? Ultimately, Erik ten Hag is trying it. Erik ten Hag is giving this a go. So, whether we like it or not, this is what Erik ten Hag's plan is for Jadon Sancho. He sees him as a false nine this season. It was coming out from multiple different journalists all talking about this story last night. Who was it that posted about it first? Yeah, so it was this one. Laurie Whitwell said the following: Jadon Sancho's trial at a false nine during pre-season is a genuine attempt by Ten Hag to see if he could perform the role on a regular basis this season. Ten Hag has been encouraged by what he has seen. So at the moment, guys, it looks like he will be playing as this false nine next season, which I don't have a massive issue with, as I just said. As always, do let me know in the comment section what you think about this potential idea. Right, we've got over 450 people watching this morning already, guys. Absolutely incredible. Please do make sure to go and smash a like on the video really, really quickly. And please do subscribe to the channel if you are new here. We're on the road to 6,300 subscribers. Let's see if we can hit that by the end of the video. We're about 60 away. So if you aren't subscribed, do make sure to go and subscribe now. Hit the notification bell. We're live every single day at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. UK time, and if anything breaks during the day, we will of course go live, so get involved. So Andrew's just put in a question. We don't usually do questions here, but I've just seen it pop up, so I'll read it out anyway. So Andrew says, if Spurs offer a swap between Kane and Rashford, do you agree? I mean, that is a very hypothetical question, isn't it? So I would probably say no. I wouldn't swap Rashford for Kane, personally. No, I wouldn't, but that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comment section, guys. Obviously, this is a purely hypothetical question, but I would not swap. Rashford for Kane. Right, let's move on to the next story. Let's talk about Scott McTominay. I know there's people in the chat saying let's play Scott McTominay as a false nine. I mean, if anybody didn't know, Scott McTominay used to be a striker. Does everyone know that? Until Jose Mourinho came to Manchester United, Scott McTominay was a striker. And for some reason, when Jose Mourinho came, he turned him into a midfielder. So for the whole of his youth career, Scott McTominay was actually a striker. But anyway, let's talk about Scott. So apparently West Ham have made a verbal offer for Scott McTominay. This is coming in from a UK journalist today. It says West Ham have made a verbal offer for Scott McTominay. We don't know how much for. Obviously, this hasn't been confirmed by Fabrizio or anybody yet. But apparently they are still in the race for Scott McTominay. For me, I would let Scott McTominay go, but we should be getting 30, 40 million, in my opinion, for Scott. He's a good player. I definitely think that we should be getting around that sort of price. But do let me know in the comment section, guys, how much would you want from West Ham to sell Scott McTominay? For me, it has to be around 30 to 40 million. It does. He's a good player. He's obviously still quite young. He does well for the international team. I don't know how many games he's played for Manchester United, but it must be well over 100 matches. So, yeah, I definitely would let Scott McTominay go, but it has to be for a good price. It has to be 30 to 40 million for me, because at the end of the day, you will have to bring in a replacement. And who would be the replacement? I mean, someone like Lavia, that's going to cost you 50 million. Who else could it be? I don't know off the top of my head, but my point is if you let McTominay go, you will need to replace him with somebody. You know, it's not like a Donny van de Beek who offers nothing. No offense to Donny, but you will have to replace. You will have to replace Scott McTominay, and he will cost money. Apparently, just on the Lavia situation, I know quite a lot of people in the chat. I know quite a lot of you in the chat have been talking about Lavia over the last few days, and quite a few of you are really, really excited about this player. Apparently, he is in talks to go to Liverpool, so it doesn't look like Lavia will come to Manchester United, guys. It looks like he will be going to Liverpool, which was kind of what we expected. Obviously, what's his name? Jordan Henderson's gone from Liverpool. Fabinho's gone from Liverpool, and it looks like they're going to sign Lavia as the replacement, which I think is a good signing for them. Obviously, I would have liked to see him at Manchester United, but I am really, really happy if we get Amrabat, who we are going to talk about right now. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. This is a good question to ask you. Who would you prefer to sign, Lavia or Amrabat? So Lavia for 50 million or Amrabat for 25. Let me know in the comment section. Who would you pick? I would go for Amrabat. I really, really would. I do like Lavia, but I think 50 million is too much for him personally. So yeah, I would go with Amrabat over Lavia. I know Lavia is a lot younger. He's like 20 years of age, but yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. I don't imagine Manchester United will enter this race. I think Liverpool have kind of got a clean run at Lavia, so I do think they will get that one over the line. Right, let's talk about Amrabat really, really quickly. Now, I want to address this from the very, very beginning. There was probably 5 or 6 journalists last night saying that Amrabat to Manchester United was done. Literally 5 or 6 different journalists were all saying that Amrabat is pretty much moved to Manchester United, okay? I wasn't 100% sure on some of these sources. There was some Moroccan journalist who apparently is the top tier Moroccan journalist. Again, I'd never heard of him. There was a couple of other people also reporting this story. There was people on YouTube making videos saying Amrabat had gone to Manchester United. But from what I've gathered from these bits of stories, it looks like the deal is progressing, but it's not 100% yet. So the few bits that I wanted to bring to you, this one's coming from Alfredo Padula, who is an Italian journalist. He was really, really good around the Onana situation, has been really good around the Rasmus Hojlund situation. he is reporting that Amrabat has chosen to join Manchester United. Okay, that's fine. That's kind of what we were expecting. And he goes on to say that Manchester United have been in contact with Fiorentina today, and Amrabat has chosen to join Manchester United, which is great. It also goes on to say that Manchester United have made new contact with Amrabat's entourage today, so that'll be his agent. There is a mutual liking between both the parties. So ultimately, Amrabat wants to move. He wants to come to Manchester United. Really, really positive that is. And then Fabrizio has said that Manchester United have Sofian Amrabat in their list as reported in June, but no news at the moment. The priority is the new striker, then outgoings as we confirm, and that Fred will leave. So ultimately what Fabrizio Romano is saying here, guys, is that he says Fred will leave, okay? So Fred will leave Manchester United. That's what Fabrizio Romano has just said, which I think is really, really positive. Do let me know in the comment section how much do you think we should be getting for Fred? Fabrizio said last night that Fred will leave Manchester United, and then once Fred leaves, we will then sign Amrabat, which I think is really, really positive. Obviously, there are a few other clubs in the race for Amrabat, but at the moment, as I said, multiple journalists are saying that Amrabat has chosen Manchester United. He wants to come to the club. Obviously, he's worked with Erik ten Hag before at Utrecht in the Eredivisie. There is already a good relationship together. They know what to expect from each other. So this is somebody that I really, really want to see at the club. And if we don't get this deal over the line, I'm going to be really, really disappointed, guys, because I think Amrabat is an absolutely quality signing. I think he will absolutely revolutionise our midfield. We won't get overrun against Manchester City away. We won't get overrun against Liverpool away. Too many games last season when we were away from home, when the crowd kind of got on our back. Our midfield just kind of disappeared, didn't it? Our midfield last season at home was really, really solid. Away from home, we literally fell apart in so many games. And I think you bring in someone like Amrabat and he completely stabilises that midfield. He becomes a rock in the middle of the midfield, If you're playing a really difficult away game, a Champions League away game, let's say, you could have a midfield three of Amrabat, Casemiro, and then either Bruno Fernandes or Mason Mount. I mean, that is literally a solid midfield if you are having to play a bit more pragmatic and you're not going full throttle at the opposition. So I think that for me, Amrabat is an essential signing. I really like his aggression. I think he's got a real character to him. He was unbelievable for Moroccan in the World Cup. Honestly, I would say he was one of the players of the tournament in the World Cup. He was so good for Morocco, and I definitely would like to see him at the club. Now, we have got a bit of news on how much he will cost. So this same journalist, this Italian journalist, is reporting that apparently the deal can be done for 30 million euros, including add-ons. So Manchester United will offer around 22 to 25 million euros for Amrabat, and then add-ons on top. So he's going to cost us 30 million euros, guys. Absolute bargain, that is. 30 million euros is about 25 million pounds. Honestly, I'd say, I'm going to say this now. If we get Amrabat for 25 million pounds, including add-ons, so like 20 plus 5 in add-ons, I'd say that was our best signing of the summer, okay? By way of the actual deal itself. Mason Mount, I'm happy with, but he was expensive. Onana, I'm literally buzzing with, but 50 million I think was a fair price. If we get if we get Amrabat for 20 million pounds plus add-ons, that is an incredible bit of business. So I'm feeling really, really excited about that one. As soon as we get a kind of more confirmation, we will bring it to you. But at the moment, from what we're hearing, from what we're seeing in different reports, is that the negotiations are ongoing. Manchester United is his number one priority. He wants to join Manchester United, but the big but here, guys, is that this deal will only happen if Fred leaves the club. But just to kind of give you a bit of peace and reassurance, Fabrizio did say last night that Fred will leave the club. Do remember, guys, he's not on the tour at the moment, Fred. He is back home. So Fred is not on the tour of America. There are a couple of clubs circling for Fred. You've got clubs like Galatasaray. You've got people like Fulham. So it does look like Fred will leave the club. And as I said, Fabrizio has confirmed that Fred will leave. And once he leaves, Manchester United will then go to sign Amrabat. So I think this is really, really positive. I do. Again, I wish Fred all the best. I hope he gets a good move. I think someone like Galatasaray would be a really, really good move for him, actually. Yeah, let me know. How much do you think Fred is worth? Obviously, Wilfried Zaha's just moved to Galatasaray as well. Galatasaray, you'll have Champions League footballers. So it's not really... I mean, obviously, it is a step down, isn't it? Manchester United are levels above Galatasaray. But if you look at it on paper, he moves to Turkey. He still gets Champions League football, and he'll probably win the Turkish league. So if I'm Fred, I would like to get that deal done. So let's hope for Fred that he does get this deal over the line, because I don't think next season he'll get much game time, to be completely honest with you. If we've got Mason Mount and we bring in Amrabat, I don't see a place for Fred in our team anymore, to be completely honest with you. He was a player that I think we paid over the odds for him. We really did. We paid about £50 million for him. We paid too much. He never really lived up to the price tag. But yeah, we'll keep you updated on that one. As Fabrizio says, Manchester United are going to let Fred go, and it does look like he will leave. And as soon as that happens, they will then put in an official bid for Amrabat, and the deal will be worth around 30 million euros. But talks are already ongoing. That's the really important thing to say. Manchester United are already in talks with Fiorentina for this move. And as I said, Amrabat has reportedly chosen Manchester United as his next club. But as I said, nothing will happen until Fred goes. So we can kind of put that one on ice for a minute. But I would say at this point, I don't want to jinx it, but I would say, if you're going to ask my opinion, I'd say I'm 80% sure that Amrabat will join Manchester United. Let me know in the live chat and in the comment section, what percentage at this point do you think Amrabat will join Manchester United? How likely do you think it will be? I'm going with 80%. I think it's 80% at this point. I really do. But let me know in the comment section, what's your kind of likelihood percentage that Amrabat will join? And if you don't want Amrabat, let me know why. If there's somebody else, if you're like Kieran, I really don't think he's good enough, I would like to get Lavia. Let me know. I'm not sure what DJ Nick's... I'm not sure what this DJ Nick person's saying in the chat, guys. So mods, just keep an eye on him. I don't really know what he's on about. Anyway, let's move on. So Amrabat, we have already spoken about. So let's move on to the next topic. So in relation to Fred, let's talk about Fred super quickly. Fred, at the moment, guys, the only actual proper offers we have on the table for Fred are from Galatasaray. 2 offers. The first one was for 5 million and the second one was for 7 million. Both offers have been rejected. Apparently Manchester United want £10.4 million for the signature of Fred. I do think that's fair. We did speak about this last night. He's not a bad player, but I don't think he's worth anything more than 10 million. And the reason for that is, before people start saying, oh, he's worth way more, is because of his wages. That's the issue with Fred, guys. Fred is on, I believe, £120,000 per week, right? We had a look at the wages of Galatasaray last night, okay? Galatasaray's highest earning player is on about £60,000 per week. So you have to factor that in. How Galatasaray do these types of deals, they just did this with Wilfried Zaha. They give the player a big signing on bonus and then pay them like 60 grand a week. So what would have to happen is Galatasaray would pay Manchester United £10 million and then they'd pay Fred like a £5 million signing on bonus, which would make up the difference in his wages. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's why there's all these issues with Manchester United and wages, because we pay so much. It creates issues. As I just said, Galatasaray's highest earning player is Mertens, and he's on €66,000 per week. I mean, so does everybody actually think that Fred has been a good player for Manchester United? Like, I think he's been very average. I do. I think Fred has been extremely average for Manchester United. And if you think about how much we've paid for him, like, he hasn't lived up to the price tag. I mean, if anybody in the chat genuinely thinks Fred has lived up to the amount of money we paid for him, then, like, I don't know what to say, to be completely honest with you. We paid 59 million euros for him. You're telling me Fred is worth 59 million euros? Definitely not, in my opinion. I think he's been average, and that's me being kind. He's had a couple of good games over the last 2 or 3 years. Maybe 10 in the last 2 or 3 years. I really don't think Fred has been particularly good for us. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, if you think Fred's good, then that's up to you. But I don't think Fred is good enough to play for Manchester United. You know, when you think of the other midfielders we've had over the years, you think of people like Paul Scholes. You think of people like even like Michael Carrick, like Darren Fletcher, people like that. Like Fred wouldn't even lace any of their boots, in my opinion. So if we can get rid of Fred, I would get rid of him without even a blink, to be completely honest with you. He has moments where he looks good, but 90% of the time he looks average. Let's be very, very honest here. I do like him, though, as a player. Like, I like him. I like the pass to Fred. I don't know. There's something about him that I like. He's not somebody that I would like, get out of my club. I hate him. I'm not like that towards Fred. I do quite like him, but yeah, I don't think he's good enough is my kind of point. But he's not like someone like Harry Maguire who comes out and says that he doesn't need to prove himself. Like, he does always try hard, but I just don't think he's that good personally. But he's quite likable as a person. That's what I'm kind of trying to get across. Anyway, let's move on. We've got over 600 people watching today, guys. Absolutely incredible. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already, and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Let's see how many people we can get in the chat today, guys. I think our record is 800, so let's see if we can break our record of the amount of viewers in one stream. So everybody smash a like if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, and do let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about Fred. Maybe some of you think we should have kept Fred, you know? The one thing I will say, though, Fred gives his 100% every single game, and I don't fault him about that. He's not lazy. He tries his best every single game. I just don't think he's good enough. That's my take on it. You know, he's professional. He always tries his best for Manchester United. But at the end of the day, do we want people who try their best, or do we want people who try their best and who are world class? I mean, for me personally, I would always want people who try their best, because that's, if you're playing for Manchester United, the bare minimum you need to do is try your best, okay? And Fred does do that. But he isn't world class in my opinion. He's average. He really is average. He would be good in a Fulham. He'd be good in a West Ham. Like, he'd do well in those types of teams. But he's not a top 4 type of player. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. Let's not talk about Fred anymore. Do let me know in the comment section, though, guys, what you think about Fred. Would you like him to stay? Would you like him to go? He's only got 1 year left on his contract as well. So that's the thing you have to take in mind here. If we don't sell him now, he's going to leave for free next season. So why would you not sell him now? It makes no sense. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. Let's talk about Anthony Martial really, really quickly. So apparently Martial is now back in training, guys. Martial is no longer injured. He is back on the pitch. He is training. Ten Hag has spoken about Anthony Martial. He says, today he was in the team training. He is a brilliant football player. He will score goals. We hope he will be fit, plus stays fit. It is easier when you have a striker in your team. So the thing you have to remember here is Erik ten Hag really likes Anthony Martial. He does. That's been publicly put out there quite a few times. And I do think Martial does improve the way we play. I do like our team when Martial does, you know, get involved in the squad. But I don't know what it is about Martial. He's still quite young. That's the thing that worries me. He's only 27, but he's had so many injuries. I just feel like there's some deep underlying problem. I think he was played too much, wasn't he? Was it under Oli or under Jose? I can't remember. But there was one manager who absolutely played Martial to death, and you could tell he was injured, and they just kept playing him and playing him and playing him, and he never really seemed to recover properly from that. So again, this is a prime example of somebody who's not been managed properly, in my opinion. I'm not saying Erik ten Hag doesn't manage him properly. Erik ten Hag has done a great job with Martial. He's been very, very patient with him. But yeah, I do just wonder whether Martial was kind of the stuff that happened to him in the past, how Oli overplayed him and all the rest of it. I think it has kind of ruined him a little bit. So Erik ten Hag has said the following in last night's press conference. This was about 4 a.m. this morning. So all of these quotes have come in overnight from Erik ten Hag. He says, this is about Anthony Martial. Erik says, we need a good squad, and Anthony Martial is a brilliant football player, so he will help us. He scored goals and also in other areas of football, like pressing, in possession, combination. He's a great player, and yeah, let's hope he will be fit and he stays fit. And then, yeah. So, I mean, what does everybody think about that? I personally would let Martial go. As Danny says in the chat, Martial's issue has never been his ability. Martial is a good player. He definitely has the ability to be, well, is a good footballer, 100%, no doubt about it. He's good enough to play for Manchester United, but he's just injured too much, he is. And if we can get rid of him at this point, I would get rid of him, I would. And as we spoke about yesterday, apparently there are 2 or 3 Saudi Arabian clubs who are interested in signing Anthony Martial. And I think even fundamentally, at the very, very minimum, the fact that he is now fit, he's now training again, that is a massive positive, because that does mean that if other clubs want to buy him, he can leave the club, okay? If a player's injured, remember, they can't leave. They won't pass their medical. So I do think this is positive. Let's hope, guys, right? Let's hope that Anthony Martial comes back and he has a couple of really good preseason matches. And let's hope like someone in Saudi Arabia comes in with a 10, 20 million offer bid, and then he goes and gets game time. I think that would be the best for him. I really, really do. How much does everybody think Anthony Martial is worth? Let me know in the comment section. For me, I think anywhere between 10 and 20 million is a fair price for Anthony Martial. I think anything more than that is unrealistic. He's only got 1 year left on his deal. He's on ridiculous wages, you've got to remember as well, guys. Anthony Martial is paid £250,000 per week by Manchester United. £13 million a year. Yeah, it's a difficult one, because I guess if you're Anthony Martial, you could say, I'm going to stay for one more season. And he could leave for next season on loan. He can leave next season for free. So realistically, guys, whatever you think of Anthony Martial, if we're going to get anything for him, we need to cash in now. We do, because this time next year, he'll be a free agent. This time next year, he could get a move to Saudi Arabia. He could go to anywhere he likes, probably. If we don't sell him now, then we're pretty much losing him for free. So I would sell him now, personally. I don't think he should get a new contract. I would not give Anthony Martial a new contract. And the same with Fred. I wouldn't give Fred a new contract, personally. I wouldn't. So we either sell him now, or he goes on a free transfer. It's as black and white as that. You know, I'm not slagging off Mason Mount, who's just come saying he's rubbish. Fred's been here, Martial's been here for a long time. They've got 1 year left on their contract. Manchester United clearly aren't going to give them a new contract. So we either sell them now or they leave for free. It's as simple as that. But yeah, do let me know in the comment section, how much do you think Anthony Martial is worth? I've said anything between 10 and 20 million I'd be happy with. Obviously, to clear his wages would be a massive, massive coup for Manchester United. He's on £13 million per year. So even if we only got £10 million for Martial, if only we got 10 million for him, we'd still be saving 13 million in wages. So that's 23 million. And I just want to stress, he's not a bad player. I like Anthony Martial. He was one of my favourite players when he joined Manchester United. Okay? Literally one of my favourite players. I love the guy, but he's just been treated badly by Manchester United. He's been managed badly. Now, this isn't about Erik ten Hag. This is about Ollie. This is about Ragnick. This is about all the previous managers who played him whilst he was injured. They overplayed him, and now he's ultimately suffering from it. The same as Rashford. Rashford was playing with a broken shoulder for half a season. You know, Erik ten Hag is very, very different. His style of man management is like, if somebody's injured, I'm going to protect them. I'm going to make sure they're all right. I'm not going to throw them back in the deep end. Whereas Ollie would just throw anybody in, you know? Ollie just didn't really care. So, yeah, I don't really know what to say about that one. Again, I don't think Martial's a bad player. I would like him to stay at the club, but his injury record does just worry me. And I would much rather cash in on him now, get the 10, 20 million in the bank, save 13 million in wages, rather than him leave next summer for free. And us all be sat here saying, Martial was injured all season, and now we've just lost him for free. I mean, that's ridiculous, you know? We need to bring money in, okay? Chelsea, I know this isn't a Chelsea channel, but Chelsea, so far this season, would have sold around 400 million euros worth of players. I mean, that is absolutely mental. Chelsea have literally cleared out all of their deadwood, right? All of them. Even like people like Pulisic, like they're not bad players. They're not. They've got rid of them. Callum Hudson-Odoi, like all of Mason Mount. They've got rid of so many players, and we need to be like that. Yeah, we need to just get rid of people. We really, really do. And I wish him all the best. He's still only 27. I do still think he can go on and get a good career somewhere else. But let me know in the comment section if you think we should keep Martial. Let me know your reasons. Try and articulate them. You know, give me a reason why. Don't just kind of disagree without any reason. Do get your reasons in. I would like to see what you guys think. Let me know what you think about Anthony Martial. Would you keep him? Would you let him? I mean, ultimately, guys, this is the situation, all right? This is the question I'm asking you. Would you sell Anthony Martial now for 10 to 20 million? Or would you keep him for a season and let him go for free? That's what I'm saying here. And for me personally, I think he's a good player. I like him. But I think we sell him now. Otherwise, we get nothing for him. That's my take on it. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think about that one. You know, if you do want to keep him, let me know your reasons why. And let's move on to something positive though, because I feel like we're going around in circles on the Anthony Martial situation. Everybody probably has differing opinions on that one. So let's move on to Rasmus Hojlund, who I do think probably 80% of the fan base do want to see Rasmus Hojlund at Manchester United, right? Do let me know in the comment section now. Do you want to see Rasmus Hojlund at Manchester United? For me, it's a definite yes. And we have got some stories coming out, which I want to bring to you on the Rasmus Hojlund deal. So Atalanta have officially got the here we go for their new striker. So Fabrizio Romano confirmed last night that Atalanta are close to signing El Bilal Toure. From Almeria in La Liga. So ultimately, guys, Atalanta have got their replacement for Rasmus Hojlund. This has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. They're going to pay 28 million euros for him, and the medical is this week. So Atalanta have their new striker. They do. The new striker is in the club. He's about to have his medical. I've not heard of the guy, to be completely honest with you, but it doesn't really matter to me. The main takeaway point here is that ultimately Atalanta have got a new striker, which obviously paves the way for Rasmus Hojlund. Fabrizio does say that he is a replacement for Rasmus Hojlund, which is really, really positive. Right, so the headline at the moment, guys, is that Manchester United are not willing to pay any more than £60 million for Rasmus Hojlund. That's what's coming out from about 2 or 3 journalists today, saying that Manchester United's absolute top price for Rasmus Hojlund is 60 million, including add-ons, which I think is fair. Anything more than that, I would actually be quite disappointed. I think 60 for Rasmus is fine. It is a bit too much, probably, but in the position we're in now, we've gone all out for him. We have to go and get him. We really, really do. Let me know in the comment section, guys. What is the absolute max that you would pay for Rasmus Hojlund? Are you happy with 60 million? Do let me know. And yeah, I look forward to seeing your comments. We've got 700 people watching today, guys. Absolutely incredible. Please do smash a like on the video really, really quickly if you haven't already. And please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're about 30 subscribers away from 6,300. So let's see if we can hit that by the end of the video. And let's carry on talking about Rasmus Hojlund. So there's a story coming out from the Times, which I think is a bit strange, okay? So the Times in the UK are saying that apparently Atalanta are still asking for £86.5 million. I mean, what is that about? Who on earth is going to pay £86 million for Rasmus Hojlund? That is absolutely stupid. I think that is a rubbish story. And then off the back of this, Manchester Evening News, Samuel Luckhurst, Jamie Jackson, 2 or 3 UK journalists are saying that Manchester United will not pay a penny more than 60 million for Rasmus Hojlund. I mean, to be honest with you, 60 million is a lot of money. But the thing you have to remember is that 60 million is including add-ons. So it could be 45 plus 15, it could be 40 plus 20. As long as we don't play over 50 million up front for Rasmus Hojlund, then I think it's okay. I still think it's a lot of money, I'll be completely honest with you. And the thing that I do want to be really clear about is Manchester United are still talking to Kolo Muani as well. So we do still have this option of Kolo Muani available to us. He would be available for around the same amount of money. Do let me know in the comment section. This is a good question. Who would you prefer to sign? Rasmus Hojlund for 60 million or Kolo Muani for 60 million? Let me know in the comment section. Who would you go for? Yeah, I don't really know, to be completely honest with you. It's such a difficult one because if you look at the stats, Kolo Muani had a way better season than Rasmus Hojlund. Kolo Muani last season got 29 goals and assists in 32 matches, which is really, really good. I'll be completely honest with you now, guys. I would happily take either of them. I would. I don't really have a preference at this stage. The only preference I have is whatever Erik ten Hag wants. If Erik wants Rasmus Hojlund, we get Rasmus Hojlund. You know, if Kolo Muani is the backup option, then we should be getting Rasmus Hojlund. We need to get his number 1 target. And it is pretty obvious that the number 1 target is Rasmus Hojlund. So for me, I trust Erik ten Hag. If he thinks he's worth 60 million, then yeah, we need to go and get that deal done. But I just want to be very, very clear. James Ducker today is reporting that Manchester United are still talking to Kolo Muani, and they're also talking to Mohammed Kudus from Ajax. So there are 2 backup options there if this Hojlund deal doesn't happen. They're ultimately saying to Atalanta, we're not giving you a penny more than 60 million. Either you take the 60 million including add-ons, or we're walking away. That's the deal. That's what needs to happen. If they don't take that, we will go and get Kolo Muani, or we will go and get Mohammed Kudus. So yeah, I do think that's the right decision. So yeah, we will keep you updated. Hopefully we get the here we go on Rasmus Hojlund today or tomorrow, just so we can kind of move on from this topic, because I do feel a little bit like it's just going around in circles with Rasmus Hojlund. You know, I really, really do. Like, one minute we're signing him, the next minute it's like, oh, now they want 80 million again, and then the next minute it's something else. But I think the really, really important thing here is that, as I said, Atalanta have just signed a new striker. They've signed this guy from La Liga, El Bellalatore. So they have just signed a replacement for him. They obviously know that he's going to leave. It's just at the moment, honestly, it's just a game of who blinks first, you know? It's the negotiation period. It's who's going to get this deal done, okay? Manchester United want to pay 60, Atalanta want more. They're just playing each other. And at the end of the day, that's what happens in negotiations. So we just got to be positive about this one. I do think Rasmus will join this week, and I do think he will join up with the rest of the team kind of by Monday when they return back to the UK. I will read out some of you guys' questions in a little bit as well. So if you do want to ask a question, put the letter Q in front of your message, or you can do a super chat by hitting the $sign. And if you want to join the members club as well, I think it's $2.99 per month. It really helps support the channel. So anybody who is in a position to join the members club, I've just put a link for it in the chat, or you can hit the $sign. Yeah. And yeah, any support is of course always appreciated. Even if it's just smashing a like on the video and subscribing, whatever, any support you guys can give is obviously always appreciated. So massive shouts to everybody in this community. I do really, really appreciate you. Right, let's move on to the next story though. Let's keep things rolling. And as I said, I will circle back to the chat in a bit and read out some questions. Al says Hojlund isn't even worth 40 million. I do agree with you. I do. I think Hojlund is worth like 40 million, to be completely honest with you, tops. But this is where we are, guys. We've just got to get on with it now. I don't really know what else we're supposed to do, to be completely honest with you. I mean, let me know in the comment section who you think is a realistic option who's going to cost us less than £60 million. I can't think of a single one. Does anybody know any options under £60 million? I mean, the only option I can think of is Taremi from Porto, but I'm not really too sure about him, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, that's my take on it, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Now, Erik ten Hag has been talking about the striker situation that I did want to speak to you guys about. So, Erik ten Hag has been asked in his latest press conference about the striker situation at Manchester United, and he says, this is a direct quote from Erik ten Hag, he says, "We make progress, yeah, but you know how it works. When we have him, we will tell you." And then Fabrizio goes on to say that Manchester United are pushing to get this Rasmus Hojlund deal done. So, yeah, it does look like this deal will come over the line. And Erik ten Hag says, "We'll do everything in our power to get it done. We need as soon as possible. Ideally, he'd be here, but it's not always possible to make it happen." So, ultimately, Erik ten Hag's kind of hit out a little bit at the club there. He says, you know, we need him as soon as possible. Ideally, he'd be here. Well, he's not talking directly about Rasmus, but he says, we need as soon as possible. Ideally, he'd be here, but it's not always possible. So it does kind of make me feel that there's a little bit of a sense of frustration from Erik ten Hag, you know, like he wanted his striker now. He wanted him in the club weeks ago, and he doesn't have a striker. He's been having to play Jadon Sancho as a false nine. I mean, it's not really acceptable, is it? But anyway, there's no need to be negative about it. I am confident that we will get this deal done. So yeah, I don't think there's any point worrying too much about it, to be completely honest with you. There's another little quote as well about Johnny Evans that I wanted to bring into the show for you guys. So Erik ten Hag was asked about Johnny Evans, and he says, Johnny Evans wants to stay fit and have a career. Last week, he played a really good game. His mentally, he was pushing the younger players to a higher level. We help him as well. So Erik ten Hag clearly does fancy, well, not in that way, but he clearly does fancy Johnny Evans and does kind of, you know, see him as a potential somebody to stay at the club. Yeah, I'm not really too sure, to be completely honest with you. I think if Harry Maguire leaves, I do think we should keep Johnny Evans as a backup option. Like, why not? He's free. But if Harry Maguire is going to stay at the club, I probably won't. I don't imagine that. I probably don't imagine that. Where's my live chat gone? My live chat's disappeared. I probably don't imagine that Johnny Evans will stay if Harry Maguire stays as well, to be completely honest with you guys. But do let me know in the comment section. This is one I wanted to ask you all. Who would you prefer at Manchester United next season? Would you like to see Johnny Evans, or would you like to see Harry Maguire? Let me know your reasons as well. Me personally, I would definitely rather have Johnny Evans as the fifth choice centre-back. I would rather cash in on Harry Maguire, keep Johnny Evans as the fifth choice centre-back, and yeah, happy days all round, I think. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who would you prefer to have, Johnny Evans or Harry Maguire as your fifth choice centre-back? At the end of the day, Johnny Evans is extremely experienced. He's won Champions League, he's won Premier Leagues. I would just keep him personally, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. We've got 700 people watching today, guys. That's absolutely incredible. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe if you are new. We're about 30 subscribers away from 6,300, so let's see if we can hit that by the end of the video. Yeah, so somebody in the chat saying we should have Will Fish as a centre-back. I mean, yeah, I completely agree, yeah. I honestly would prefer somebody like Will Fish to be the fifth choice than Harry Maguire, personally. Like, Harry Maguire's on 240 grand a week. It's just a waste of money in my eyes. It really, really is. Like, he's never gonna be a Manchester United player now, is he? Realistically, I know he's done it before. I know he was the captain, and like, hats off to him. He's achieved more than me or you will probably achieve in our lives. You know, he's captain Manchester United. That is incredible. But at the end of the day, he's not going to break back into that team whilst you've got people like Varane, Martinez, Lindelof, and even Luke Shaw who are ahead of him. So I definitely would just let Harry Maguire go, and I would happily keep Johnny Evans as the fifth choice centre back, or even promote Will Fish, as somebody said in the chat. Right, we've got a question coming in. Someone says, what if Manchester United don't formalise their interest in Kane? Let Bayern agree a fee with Spurs, then United jump in and match the offer. Yeah, that is possible. Obviously, we did that with Malacia last season, didn't we? Lyon agreed a deal with Malacia. I think we even got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano, didn't we? And then Manchester United at the very last minute jumped in and got the deal. So that is a possibility. You know, Manchester United might be waiting to see what kind of fee Tottenham agree with Bayern Munich, and then they might jump in and say, we'll give you 5 million more. Like, you never really know, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, I don't really know about that one. I'm a bit kind of unsure about what will happen with Harry Kane. As I said on yesterday's stream, guys, I'd say there's probably like a 20% chance we sign Harry Kane, to be completely honest with you. That's my opinion, though. I don't really see Harry Kane happening at this stage. But as somebody said in the chat, there is a possibility that, you know, Manchester United are just biding their time. They're going to wait and see what Bayern Munich offer. You know, maybe Bayern Munich offer 80 million, it gets accepted, and then Manchester United come in with 85. I mean, it is possible, isn't it? Yeah, so we will keep an eye on that one. Fred says, realistically, Johnny Evans is already our 5th choice centre-back. I mean, that is a good question, right? Let me ask you this. Now that Johnny Evans has signed a short-term contract at Manchester United, who is the 5th choice centre-back? Is it Johnny Evans or is it Harry Maguire? Let me know in the comment section, because at the moment, before Johnny Evans came, it was Harry Maguire. But I genuinely think that Johnny Evans would probably get game time over Harry Maguire, genuinely. Because the thing with Johnny Evans is he can come on and he can kind of like keep the team together, you know? Do you know what I mean? Like, he has got that leadership mentality, whereas, let's be honest, Harry Maguire is definitely not a leader at all. So, yeah, I honestly think that Johnny Evans is the 5th choice centre-back now, and Harry Maguire is the 6th choice. Yeah, let's just hope he does get his move. Let's just hope that does happen, just for his sake. But yeah. Right, let's have a look. I will read out some of your questions in a minute, guys, as well, so get some questions in. I mean, quite a lot of people in the chat are saying I would like to see Johnny Evans. I agree with you, I do. He's not that old. He's like 34, I think. Is he 34, Johnny Evans? Yeah, he's 35 years of age. He's not that old. Obviously, he's won a lot of stuff in his career. Harry Maguire's 30, I think. So it's not like one's 20 and one's 35. Somebody says, how will we buy Harry Kane with financial fair play? Well, how we'll buy Harry Kane if we were to do it is... do you want me to list this off really, really quickly? So we've got 15 for Elanga. We'll get around 20 for Dean Henderson. That's 35. Let's say 15 from Fred. That's 50 million now. We've got 6 million for Tellers. That's 56. Probably get around 6 for Erik Bailly. That's 62. Probably get around 15 to 20 for Donny van der Beek. That's 82. And then if you did sell like a Maguire, if you sold somebody else, we can easily raise £100 million without even selling people like Maguire or McTominay, is my kind of point here. So people saying, how will you get around this with financial fair play? At the moment, the players we're bidding on are all based within our current budget. Rasmus Hojlund, Mason Mount and Onana are all buyable within our budget, okay? Any additional signings will have to come from player sales. And we can easily raise £100 million this summer, easy. So that's how we would buy more players. Whether that will be Amrabat, whether that'll be someone else, whether it'll be Harry Kane, I'm not entirely sure at this moment. Joe says, Kieran, currently with Onana and Mason Mount in, which is our strongest and weakest positions? Defence, midfield, striker? I would say striker. I'm happy with our defence. I'm happy with our midfield. I'd say that our striking area is very, very weak. I really do think that. Obviously, I like Rashford. Obviously, I like Anthony, but I would say that our attacking options are really weak at the moment. I think we need 2 strikers. I would honestly go out and get 2 strikers now. That would be my priority. I'd get 2 strikers, and if we could get Amrabat as well, I'd get Amrabat. But I honestly would probably say, that a second striker at this point is maybe more important than Amrabat, unless Erik ten Hag does see Jadon Sancho as this false 9 this season, as we spoke about earlier on in the show. If he sees him as the false 9, then maybe we don't need a second striker, because ultimately you could play Sancho as a false 9, you could play Rashford as a striker, or Rasmus Hojlund. That's fine. Yeah, but I would say that our striking is our most weak area at the moment. But do let me know in the comment section, guys, which area of the pitch is the most weak area for you? For me, it's the strikers, 100%. We need to massively increase that area, otherwise we're going to be in big, big trouble next season, I think. We have got a bit of an update on Zion Suzuki. So apparently Zion Suzuki has declined an offer from Manchester United to prioritise playing time ahead of the Olympics. So as it stands, guys, it doesn't look like Zion Suzuki will be joining Manchester United. He looks like he will be staying at Urawa Reds in Japan. Ultimately, I think the Olympics are coming up this summer, the same as the Euros, and he is going to be part of the Japanese Olympics team. And as it stands, it looks like he will be staying at Urawa Reds. I mean, I'm not really too sure about that. Like, why would you leave? Why would you not come to Manchester United? But obviously, that's up to him. You know, fair play to him in some ways. If he, you know, if he thinks he's not going to get game time, then maybe that is the right decision. Right, there's some breaking news coming in the last few minutes, guys. Literally in the last minute. This is coming in from Corey Della. I can never pronounce this account's name, but it's got 2.7 million followers. It's an Italian newspaper. So this is literally coming in the last minute, guys. You're going to really, really like this one. So smash a like on the video. Sofian Amrabat has reportedly rejected an approach from Liverpool in favour of a move to Manchester United. This is coming in the last 7 minutes, coming in from the Italian newspaper Corriere. It's got 2.7 million followers. So yeah, apparently Amrabat has reportedly rejected an approach from Liverpool in favour of a move to Manchester United. I mean, that's what we want to hear, isn't it? When a player, when a player we want rejects one of our biggest rivals, that's exactly what we want, isn't it? So yeah, really, really happy about that. Let's just hope we get this deal over the line. How does everybody feel about that? I mean, that's exactly what you want to hear, though, isn't it? Exactly what you want to hear. Really, really good. I know it's like he's just rejected them, and it's not like we're actually signing him at this stage. But I do think that's positive. I do. I do think it's positive because they were really interested in him, weren't they? They did want to get him at the club, Liverpool. But apparently, yeah, it's just come in that he's rejected Liverpool and he wants to join Manchester United. I mean, to be completely honest with you, and I'm not being at all biased here, if I was a footballer, I at this point would rather join Manchester United than Liverpool. Obviously, if I didn't support Manchester United, because I genuinely think we're on a better trajectory than Liverpool at the moment. Like, Liverpool are in a massive rebuild. They really, really need to sort out so much, Liverpool, and I think at the moment they're going to struggle next season. Whereas Manchester United, I think we're just going to keep kind of getting better and better. Yeah. So apparently Amrabat's rejected Liverpool. Maybe this is just spin. Maybe this is just the media putting out stories. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. Did we talk about Scott McTominay already? Yeah, I think we did, didn't we? But there was a story coming out saying that apparently West Ham have made a verbal offer for Scott McTominay. So we will, of course, keep you updated on the McTominay situation. Yeah, I'm not really too sure about that one. So in relation to Zion Suzuki, let's jump back to that really, really quickly. So if we don't get Zion Suzuki, apparently we are in talks to sign the goalkeeper from Fenerbahce. His name is Alate Bayindir. He would apparently cost around £5 million. Again, I've never heard of this guy, to be completely honest with you. I don't really watch Turkish football. But he is a 25-year-old goalkeeper who plays for Fenerbahce and the Turkish national team. He very much would be a backup goalkeeper. He wouldn't be the first choice. Yeah, again, I'd never heard of this person, but it is what it is, isn't it? To be honest with you, I would just keep Matej Kovar. I would not bother with a backup goalkeeper. Yeah, I would not bother with him. Yeah, to be completely honest with you, I would keep Matej Kovar. So we've got a question coming in. Somebody is saying, how much is Scott McTominay worth? I think 30 to 40 million for Scott McTominay would be a fair price. Anything less than that, I think, is a disgrace. When you see people like, I mean, who's gone recently for ridiculous money? I mean, put it this way, right? Yesterday, Chelsea rejected a 40 million bid for Conor Gallagher. Surely McTominay's better than Conor Gallagher, right? What does everybody think about that? McTominay's better than Conor Gallagher, surely. I think so. And Chelsea have just rejected a £60 million bid for Conor Gallagher. So I think we should be at least getting 60 million for McTominay. Sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up here. Chelsea have rejected a £40 million bid for Conor Gallagher, okay? And I think Scott McTominay is better than Conor Gallagher. So, I don't know, 30 to 40 million? Yeah, not really too sure, to be completely honest with you, though. Let me know what you guys think. How much do you think for Scott McTominay? What would be your price? We've got 650 people watching today, guys. Absolutely amazing. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video if you haven't already. And please do subscribe to the channel. We've only got about 8 minutes left of the show. So if you haven't done it yet, please do it now. Yeah, because it really, really helps the channel kind of just to grow and get more people in the chat and all of that other good stuff. So yeah, do that. But yeah, Conor Gallagher for £40 million. That's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? And I honestly think that McTominay's better than Conor Gallagher. So yeah, so apparently Chelsea rejected West Ham's 40 million bid for Conor Gallagher. I mean, why are Chelsea and West Ham willing to pay 40 million for Conor Gallagher, but Manchester United can't sell Harry Maguire or Scott McTominay? I mean, I don't really get it. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't say that Conor Gallagher is better than McTominay. I'd say they're probably level, to be completely honest with you, you know? Neither of them are world-class players. They're both like average, if not good. Somebody says, how confident are you about signing Hojlund? I'd probably say at this point, I'm 80% sure we'll get Hojlund and 80% sure we'll get Amrabat. I think those will be our only two signings now, to be completely honest with you. I think we'll get Amrabat and I think we'll get and I think we'll get Hojlund. That's what I think will happen. And then obviously if people like Harry Maguire and stuff leave, then I think we'll enter the defender market. But at the moment, I think we will just be signing we will be signing Rasmus Hojlund and Amrabat. But let me know in the comments section, guys. Who do you think we will sign? Who do you think will be our last final signings? Obviously, the Premier League season starts 3 weeks from now. Less than 3 weeks until our first game. The transfer window closes, I think, at the end of August. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who will be our final signings of the season? I think we will just end up with Rasmus Hojlund and Amrabat. And then if people like McTominay leave, Maguire leave, etc., then I reckon we will sign a few more people. But at the moment, I think those will be our only 2 signings. And I think I'm 80% sure that both of them will join. I really, really do. Yeah, I just think it's kind of written in the stars, isn't it, that Rasmus Hojlund will become a Manchester United player. And all of the stories at the moment are saying that Amrabat's going to join as well. So I'd say Rasmus Hojlund and Amrabat will be our final 2 signings of the summer. But I do think quite a lot of people will leave as well. I think Fred will go, Donny will go, obviously Erik will go, Elanga, Tellez. I do think Harry Maguire will leave as well. But I'm just going to throw this out there. I think that Harry Maguire will leave on loan. I have this feeling. I have this feeling that Harry Maguire will leave on loan. I don't want that to happen, but I just have this feeling. I don't know why. But let me know in the comments section, guys. Let me know the players that you think will leave. Not who you do want to leave. Let me know who you think will leave this summer from Manchester United. And also let me know who will sign. Let me see if I've got any more questions before we end the video. I can't see any more questions. If anybody has any more questions, do get them in now, and I will read them out before the end. Somebody says, I think Donny van de Beek will stay. Yeah, we don't really have any news about Donny at the moment, unfortunately for you. Right, this feels like a really good point to wrap up the video, guys. This has been an absolutely incredible show this morning. We had 700 people watching. Amazing. Thank you so much to everybody who's been involved in the community today, getting your questions in, getting your chats in. Please do smash a like on the video as you leave, and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. It's completely free. It doesn't cost any money, so get involved in the community. We are live every single day at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So if you are new here, do subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if anything breaks during the day, if we get the Rasmus, here we go, we will, of course, be live. So do get involved. Yeah, and I hope you have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's been Daily Red Devil. Lots of love. Peace out.